So, wow. Yesterday might have been the biggest news day for Killer Instinct as a game, I think, ever. Between all the announcements, we found out that Fulgore is going to be coming out on April 9th. We found out more about how he plays, what his stage looks like, and we also got the biggest announcement of them all, and it's the fact that the developer for Season 2 has been announced, and it's Iron Galaxy. Some of you guys might not know who Iron Galaxy is. They're a prominent developer who's actually had history with fighting games, but they're not extremely well known unless you're kind of, you know, versed with fighting games. But to be honest, not many people knew who Double Helix was before they started taking on a big project like Killer Instinct, and it really put them on the map along with other games like Strider. Iron Galaxy, however, is probably the best choice possible for the future of Killer Instinct, and there's a couple of reasons why. They understand fighting games already. They've already made quite a few of them, albeit some of them are not directly their responsibility. They're ports of classic arcade fighting games. A couple of them are extremely profound and really personal to myself as far as being, you know, huge games that I really like, and you see them a lot on this channel already. Believe it or not, Street Fighter 3 Third Strike Online Edition and Marvel vs. Capcom Origins are made by Iron Galaxy, as well as Darkstalkers Resurrection. The extremely good thing about them making these games and them making a game like Killer Instinct is that these titles that already exist feature some of the greatest netcode of any fighting game on consoles, period. It's freaking great. It's amazing, and they were some of the first ones to actually put good GGPO netcode into console fighting games. So there is something to look forward to here, and it's also the fact that they get how netcode works. They get how online fighting games are really important, and all the stuff that they add around those games, even though they didn't come up with the initial original content, they made really good faithful ports and stuff that, as fans of the original games, was freaking awesome. They've only made one original fighting game, and that's Dive Kick. I think the game's extremely fun, but at the same time, Killer Instinct is a much bigger scale, like, type of project. I mean, I'd understand if you guys are kind of worried about that, but at the same time, Double Helix never made a fighting game. Rareware never made a fighting game before either, and they made Killer Instinct. So, I'm just saying, that's something to kind of like step up. In situations like this when developers have an opportunity, and they've mentioned this in interviews recently, that they had a chance to actually take the Killer Instinct project, and Double Helix got it first because they made like an alpha build that really got Microsoft's attention. And now that this has actually come down, where Double Helix can't work on the future of Killer Instinct because they're pretty much working for Amazon now, and whether or not Amazon's making a new console or whatever, I mean, that would make sense why they're not working with Microsoft, and it's, you know, probably the case. The new people that are coming in to step up to the plate is Iron Galaxy, and I can't think of another studio that could really do it. I mean, can you? Is there anyone else that could actually make a fighting game similar to Killer Instinct or as good as Killer Instinct? NetherRealm Studios pops to mind, and I would absolutely agree with you that NetherRealm would be the next best choice, but they already kind of got their own thing going. They got their deal with DC, they got the Mortal Kombat games, so I don't think they're going to be straying from that anytime soon. Honestly, Iron Galaxy is pretty much the best bet. They have the talent that understands how fighting games work, they have the talent that could actually be used to design captivating characters, and I'm pretty sure they're going to be taking the legacy that Double Helix made with its Killer Instinct character and roster right now over to the new KI. I in fact can tell you that's the case because one of the higher-ups at Iron Galaxy, Dave Lang, was specifically saying that they really have a specific idea in mind about Killer Instinct, and they really want to take what Double Helix did with the game and continue that. They think they established a really profound, solid, like, base of how the fighting game is, and that's really good. And I can only agree with him more and more and more, especially for the guys at Iron Galaxy. And this is kind of like my own hopes for the future of the game is to not mess with like the core of Killer Instinct too much, because man, it's really good. As far as fighting games go, Double Helix was actually able to make a fighting game that is, one, accessible for players that have not played fighting games in a hell of a long time, and two, ridiculously deep, and not specifically complicated, but extremely complex. That's a bit different than being complicated. You have crazy mind games, and you have a lot of different meta games that go on within KI, as well as huge executional barriers for higher level players. You can really tell the people that are extremely good at Killer Instinct, and it's obvious, man. And that's a really hard thing to do, albeit it really hasn't been done much before, where you're actually able to make a fighting game that's compelling for new players, as well as being captivating for, you know, tournament standard purposes. And I think Iron Galaxy knows this. I think they understand that the basis that they have to grow on is a really good one. I only hope that they take what was already established as far as character design philosophies and art and stuff like that over into Season 2. But as you guys know, it's confirmed Iron Galaxy is completely working on Season 2 and potentially the future of KI this point forward. And Double Helix's work is going to conclude once Fulgore is released on April 9th, and on that same day, believe it or not, we're getting an arcade mode which actually has the story features and kind of like the story mode, as well as lobbies. 8-person lobbies. Thank God. We've all been waiting for that one quite a bit. I only hope that everything runs extremely smooth. And I really want to see what they do with like the final boss. I want to see how Fulgore plays, and I'm just excited for the future of Killer Instinct. This is really good news because it could have gone into anybody's hands at this point, and I think it's potentially in the best hands possible outside of Double Helix. And I only hope that they can continue what they did. What I'm shocked at is the fact that the one company that I was assuming would possibly take the lead on this, and really there wasn't any consideration, it looks like, was Rareware. I'm kind of surprised by it, and it's kind of weird that Rare's logo is on there, and I'm pretty sure the Rare logo was on there specifically because Robin Beanland was involved, who was actually the composer of some of the original Killer Instinct 1 and 2 music, and he special advised on this one with Mick Gordon, the new composer, to create a freaking amazingly badass soundtrack that the new Killer Instinct has. It's ridiculous that it almost rivals the old Killer cuts. And I hope that there's some involvement from him still, but it's just weird that Rareware isn't the ones making the new KI. I would kind of assume that to be so, but at the same time, you look at who they are now as a company, and they're dramatically different, and the talent that they have is very little compared to what it was back in the day. Like, I'm just not saying that they're not talented, I'm just saying that they don't have the same people that worked there back in the day. I think Robin is one of the only few ones that still works with Rare that still worked there back in the SNES and N64 days. So I'm just saying, it's kind of weird that they're not having any involvement at all, maybe similar to what they were before. But either way, Iron Galaxy is pretty much, like I was saying, the best bet we got. And for the future of KI, who knows how far it's going to be until we actually see stuff come online and get characters, but I only hope it isn't too far. An E3 reveal would be freaking amazing, and EVO reveal would be even friggin' better, because this is the first year Killer Instinct is going to be at EVO, and I only hope that we get more characters on a full actual release later on. And I really think that if this means that the future of Killer Instinct is in new hands, and Microsoft is very dedicated to it, as we've seen Phil Spencer say many times on Twitter, who's one of the head execs over at Microsoft, that's a good thing. That means that potentially we could see retail releases of the game once the game actually has enough content to validate a retail release. We can actually see things along the lines of like new special items that come with Season 2. I'd imagine Season 2 is already going to come with Killer Instinct 2 as far as a package, and maybe we'll even get online for the classic Killer Instincts, which has been one of the more highly requested things. Either way, I think that it was successful enough to warrant them to go to greater lengths to make Season 2 much bigger than Season 1 is, and I just can't wait to see what Iron Galaxy eventually puts out. Like, when they have their first character online, that's pretty much going to be it, where we're like, oh my god, this is it, and we actually see how things go with a different developer. Because if they take the design philosophy that Double Helix has already applied to the majority of their characters, which has pretty much been to have like no clone characters, to have everyone play extremely unique, that's really cool. So anyway, there's a huge future for Killer Instinct now, guys. What I want you to do is stay here, because later today, there's actually going to be a Fulgore live stream where we finally see Fulgore in action fighting other characters instead of the trailer form, and I'll put up a little bit of a highlight reel from that live stream so we can see exactly what the heck is going on with his gameplay. But April 9th is the day. We're finally going to get the character, we're finally going to get story mode, and you better believe I'm going to be doing a bunch of story mode run-throughs on this channel, as well as a boss rage for the hardest difficulty, or the Kyle difficulty, of the new extremely difficult boss character, or whoever the boss ends up being in KI. If it's something like Idol or Gargos, that's going to be ridiculous and insane, but who knows. There is so much on the horizon now that for being Killer Instinct fans like myself and wanting to see this game thrive, yesterday was an extremely good day. But stay tuned, guys. As soon as Fulgore is out, we're going to have a full comprehensive tutorial video going over the basics of the character and how you need to jump into using the giant-ass robot Predator Terminator Man. Oh, it's going to be so sweet. Thank you, dudes, very much, and if you want to stay around for that, please subscribe. My name is Maximilian, and I'll see you next time.